Hey, converted man here, Kizzume Fowler. What? Why am I doing a video on him? He's fine. There's no problem with him.
There are people who sort of make it their philosophy to point out fallacies.
That's me!
The problem I have with this is that almost anything someone says, if you look at it a certain way, could be considered a fallacy.
No. No. No, no, no. No. I hear what you're saying, but no. And he gives some examples throughout the video of statements that one could hyper-analyze and break down and say why they're technically not true, which is not the same as a fallacy. There's at least 1,000-ish fallacies available to choose from. And mostly subcategories of main fallacies, and really don't have to get super technical with which fallacy and sub-fallacy I'm referring to for this video. I would, describe it in detail if I was talking about a particular fallacy, but fallacy is not just, well, I object to that statement because it's not really factual. That would not be a thing. That is in itself not an actual fallacy. You have to have a name for the fallacy for it to be an actual fallacy. If someone, one of the examples was, the sky is blue, yeah. There is no fallacy being made there. At least in casual conversation. This is a difference between what dialogue we're in. And identifying the dialogue is also part of informal logic. So if somebody says in response to the sky is blue, well, technically it's not blue, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, but we're just talking. We're not debating this subject, are we? We're not in persuasionary dialogue or in fact-finding dialogue or in any of the other dialogues. We're in casual conversation dialogue, where statements don't really have to be proven all the time. There are a few sort of steps and levels to statements I could make in a casual conversation that might need additional information or proving. If I said, I had dinner with the President of the United States last night, that's a statement that you would want proof of, because it is rather extraordinary. The rule of extraordinary statements or extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence still holds even in casual conversation. To say the sky is blue is not extraordinary in any way, shape, or form. To say the sky is on fire, that is a different sort of statement that either I would notice as well, or we need to clarify what you mean by fire. So, no. Technically, those people, whoever they are, that are saying fallacy, 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 and they're nitpicking everything, they're not actually citing actual logical fallacies. They're just being nitpicky. Which makes this whole video I just did nitpicky. Darn you, Kizzume! But, okay, let me analyze critically, which means to look deeper between the lines of what this is, because Kizzume does vlog-type videos. He talks about things that are of interest to him. Okay. So, people, being online or in real life, might have been, to his perception, being more nitpicky than normal. saying things like, well, technically this and technically that, and it was to the extent where it's like, oh, come on already, can I just talk about stuff without having every single thing I say analyzed to death? What does the word "the" mean? Oh, here we go again. Because sometimes we don't want to philosophize, we just want to talk. We don't want to think about the words we're saying or how they're being used. We don't want to hyper-analyze reality. We just want to have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Know what dialogue you're in. If you're interacting with Kizzume, you're probably going to be in casual conversation mode. And I don't know him that well, but I would dare say it would be rare to find an instance when you're not in casual conversation mode with this particular individual, just from what I know of watching his videos. And of course, there's always exceptions to that rule. It's just most likely, of course. And it is identifying what conversation you're in that I would think is primary before going to some sort of deeper analysis. And I don't think there's anything wrong with asking, wait, what are we in casual conversations? Just making sure. Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's not try to prove everything, okay? Let's just talk, okay? Alright, cool. Now I understand, because maybe I was thinking, well, we started talking about some scientific stuff, so maybe that upped the bar of the conversation, and I need to up the bar of my analysis of words. No, we're still in casual conversation. We're just talking about things that we kind of remember about some scientific stuff, and how awesome it is or whatever, right? We don't have to be precise in our language, because we're not really trying to get any particular type of new insight. We might get a new insight, but that's really not the goal of having a casual conversation. The goal is just to exchange words. That is, in and of itself, all there is to casual conversation. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on his video. And why do I have a snake? Until next time, continue to be skeptical of the conclusions.